Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am Jordan and what's up? What's good? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I know it's been a minute, and for my 8th comeback to the scene, I wanted to talk about something that really reflects what I've been feeling recently and how I've been feeling. And so we're going to talk about a fear of success. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, like who has a fear of success? Apparently I do. So let's get into it. So in this video, I'm going to talk about a few things. I have a chapter list somewhere on the screen, but we're going to talk about what a fear of success is. And we'll talk about how it shows up in my life and how I kind of experienced it. We'll talk about ways to combat it or move away from that. And then I have a little homework chapter just to apply what we talked about in the video in real life, just to get a little bit better than we were before we started the video. So I decided to throw that in there. It's something super simple, a little reflection, but we'll get to it when we get to it. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I will say though, I am still very much in it. I haven't cured my fear of success. I don't think that's something that you can just kind of realize you have and then just kind of walk away from, but it is something that you work on as well as most things in life. So we're going to talk about how to start moving in the right direction at least. So let's get into it. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a heads up. I feel like my emotions or my energy is kind of all over the place in this video, not in a way that's super jarring or overwhelming, but as I was editing it, I realized that it's a little back and forth and I don't want you guys to get too emotional whiplash unless you have gotten a heads up about it. It's really not that intense. I feel like I'm making it bigger than it actually is, but I think it's just because I am actively dealing with navigating this issue that I have. And so there are moments where my frustration with myself and with my experience comes out a little bit, I think, and not in anything crazy. I'm not screaming and yelling. I think I just get a little intense when talking about it because I do want us to thrive and live our best lives and everything like that. And so I'm passionate about it. I am frustrated with the fact that I've been in my way for so long. So just wanted to give you the heads up so you guys aren't getting emotional whiplash. And yeah, let's get into it for real. Alrighty, let's get started. So what is a fear of success? It's not a fear of success itself. It's what comes with the success that you achieve. There are a lot of things out there, like a fear of being perceived or a fear of being seen, a fear of failure. And those are a lot more, I don't want to say tangible, but those are a lot more straightforward versus a fear of success, like I said, is all about the things that come after you get to that point or what might come after you get to that point. It looks different for a lot of people, but just for those of us who maybe don't like having that much attention on us. Okay, I'm doing really well now in this field, but now I have to do talks and present things and do all that other stuff. That's a lot of attention that is kind of unwanted but necessary at that level of success, or attention in a negative way, especially in this world, in this time that we're living in, with social media being such a huge thing. People are horrible for one reason or another. They just don't care as much because it's behind a screen and not a person right in front of them, and that's a whole other issue. But that comes with having a level of success. So many more people have access to you than maybe you would like. I think the responsibility that comes with the success, all the different challenges, maybe financial changes, life changes, sacrifices you have to make to get to that level of success, or the things you have to sacrifice or do to maintain that level of success, that's frightening also, because it feels like it's going to be so different from the life that you're living, but it's a gradual change. And I think that thinking big picture all the time makes it so overwhelming that you kind of just shut down. And that kind of plays into a little bit of an ADHD aspect. I think for those of us who have ADHD, I think that thinking so big picture can become so overwhelming that you kind of just shut down and give up. It's it's not something that I want to think about too much anymore because it's just stressing me out, and it's all hypothetical. None of it has actually happened or might actually happen, you know? And another thing is a fear of losing the freedom or the flexibility that you have in your current life. I think that's a really important one because you're gonna have to sacrifice some things to get to where you want, but it doesn't make sense to sacrifice your dreams and maybe your quality of life or your happiness to not reach for your goals and your dreams. They're dreams in your head for a reason. They're not just there for you to think about and move on from. I'd rather live a happy life than to live a small, stressed out, sad life. Guys, I literally just talked for 8 minutes straight and I didn't click record. It's fine. Let's talk about me. So I think my biggest things was me feeling so worried about the pressure, the expectations, or not having what it takes to maintain that level of success once I get to that point. But it's really hard to pull yourself out of it when you're getting too deep into thinking about the big picture and not recognizing that there are going to be a bunch of little baby steps that get you to the point of that success. So you'll know how to maintain it once you get there. But I think for me in this time of my life also, like I have a new level of responsibility than I ever have in my life. And I've mentioned this before, and I think this is kind of a different conversation, but essentially like this is the first time in our lives where you're like completely responsible for everything. You don't necessarily have to work, but you probably won't have anywhere to live, or you might starve or something, or you don't have to hang out with certain people. You don't have to do anything, but it's kind of like your responsibility to like create the life that you want for yourself. And you can't blame anyone. It's not like there's like a set structure, like, okay, take these classes, get this degree. There's not like anything else lined up for you. So then I'm feeling overwhelmed in this current stage of my life with the level of responsibility and the challenges and like the things that I've had to like work through. And so then thinking about all the goals and the things that I want to achieve that I know how to start working towards feels so much bigger and so much more overwhelming, because I'm like, okay, the challenges and the responsibilities that I'm dealing with now are like a lot. So how much more intense are those challenges and responsibilities and expectations going to be once I get to that point of being successful? And then on top of that, I think I'm also very worried about just like being able to maintain that lifestyle. I feel like I have a little bit of a hard time with consistency and with discipline, and that's something that I'm working on my own. But like that is another reason why I'm nervous about getting to that point of success, because will I be able to maintain it? And I think yes, because by the time I get to that point, I will have built in the systems necessary to be able to maintain it. But it's like thinking that far ahead without, you know, like I said, recognizing the little baby steps it takes to get there feels so overwhelming. It's a lot harder to kind of like grapple with. Another thing in this time with social media and everything, people can be really mean and people can be really hateful. And so saying things and doing things that kind of like reflect who I am as a person directly, and then having other people out in the world say like mean things or like hateful things towards me, like I haven't really had that as an experience yet, but like I know that once I get to the level of success that I'm aiming for, it's like going to happen. I worry for myself on like how I'm going to manage that. And of course, like that's a problem for future Jordan, but I'm such a big planner and I'm such a big like kind of control freak that I want to be able to plan for it now so that I know that I'll be able to conquer it then. And that kind of plays a little bit into self-trust, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I've just kind of been yapping. It's been a bit of a therapy session, I feel like. Let's get into the next part where we're talking about moving away from all of these feelings and these thoughts and maybe not being as self-sabotagey as we might be right now. Self-sabotagey? Yeah, I'm coining that. Self-sabotagey. Alrighty, for this part, I'm gonna have to look at my laptop because I want to make sure that I give you guys as much like real information as possible. Ways to combat the fear and move away from our self-sabotagey behavior. First, you can focus on alignment over pressure and perfection. It's really hard to take any sort of steps towards your goals and your dreams and your hopes and all of that if you're thinking more about it being perfect, or you're thinking too much about the pressure that's to come once you reach whatever point of your goals and your dreams that you're aiming for. Instead, if we focus on alignment and we focus on like the here and now, it'll be a lot easier for us to follow through with certain things because they feel good, instead of it being like, I have to do this, this is necessary. A big thing for me also is reframing it as an experiment, just trying different things instead of thinking about it as like all or nothing kind of situation. Of course, like give as much effort as you can, but like, okay, cool, it doesn't work out, noted, trial one done. Next, what's the next option? You know? And that kind of ties into another point, which is choosing curiosity over control. You're just trying to better understand the situation, what worked, what didn't, how to pivot, versus trying to have a grasp on everything all the time, because that's going to just get overwhelming because you can't have a grasp on everything all the time. It's kind of unrealistic to put that pressure on yourself. It just makes it a little bit easier, I think, to move through the world out of curiosity instead of out of like judgment or out of trying to control things. And then a huge thing is redefining what success looks like for you. For me, in this stage of my life right now, success looks like showing up for myself. Success could also kind of look like consistency, but I don't know how I want to define consistency yet, so I'm not gonna say that. But success for me looks like showing up for myself and doing the little thing that I said I was going to do when I said I was going to do it. That way, as I build my self-trust, I can do bigger things, I can make bigger commitments, I can leap for bigger things, knowing that I'll be able to catch myself when I get there. Oh, and in therapy, my therapist, love her, thank you, Stacy, she said, think about the decision and what version of yourself it's serving. Like, is this serving the version of yourself that wants control, or is this serving the version of yourself that wants to create? Is this serving the version of yourself that wants to learn, or is it serving the version of yourself that wants to, I was gonna say make money, but like not like making money is bad. I think the hustle culture in the world right now is kind of rough, but like you get the point. You get the point. What version of yourself is this decision serving? That way you can really just like take a quick thought and decide on how you want to move after that. For those of us with ADHD, it might be better to aim for lower stakes. Start small. I mean, honestly, anyone who's watching this video who's experiencing this, start small and go from there. Build systems. That way you can continue to go back to the system and follow it through versus focusing too much on like separate steps or separate little pieces of something. It'll help with your flow, with your consistency, with your self-trust. So sorry about the angle. My phone hates me and it ran out of storage while I was talking about the last section of the video. So we're gonna speed run it right now. I know it's a weird angle, but it'll be fast. It'll be fast. So it's just a little bit of a reflection. So I want you to think to yourself or like reflect, where have you seen yourself pull back just when things were going well? And you can write this in a journal. You can do like a little video diary. Clearly I like doing a little video diary moment. And then write down one area where you've been self-sabotaging, and then next to it write one small action that leads towards growth instead of retreat, and reframe it as, I can try this, and if it changes, that's okay. Remember to think in experiments. It's a trial. It's just a test run. You do the next one and you'll continue to learn from there. And then another thing that I saw that was really helpful was redefining success as flexible, forgiving, and evolving. I'm so sorry about how chaotic this video has been. I was not expecting it to go this way, and I have to go spend a little bit of time now clearing out my storage apparently. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be sharing this information with you and also just like talking about this stuff again. We have a lot more things coming in the rest of this year and into next year for sure, and I'm excited to be back. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop in the comments below. I'm happy to hear from you. I would love to chat, love to have a little conversation. We're building community here, so let's build. But yeah, that's kind of all I got to say for you for now. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for joining me. Love you lots. Clearly my storage is fine, because how was I able to film all of that? Wonderful question. Okay, now I'm gone. Bye. Love you lots.